We be live, but not on Twitch apparently. Let me change it on Twitch.
I can imagine why. The
Yes,
title is spicy and
the title is spicy.
Twitch
That's why
is
we're not
extremely sensitive.
sensitive. Okay. Let's see if we could go live on Twitch as well. I changed the title to AR News, and yes, we are also live on Twitch now. Wow, Twitch be sensitive. Wait, so people don't get to talk about these things in Twitch? Like, you don't understand. Like, what do you want us to do? You want us not to talk about what happens on the news? Like, are we like, you know what? I'm gonna stop ranting. Okay, I'm gonna stop ranting. Positive. We're gonna stay positive, okay? Because we're gonna talk about the news. Yay! Look at this decent
Yay!
news. Woohoo!
Yes.
Only
So,
here.
for
Only.
anyone who,
Oh, wait,
stumbled
wait.
across this stream for the first time, this is Atheist Republic News, and we talk about religious and secular related news every week.
Yes. Only here are people this excited about the news. Okay. Yeah, guys, make sure that you like the video. Don't you have no right watching this video if you haven't liked it. Okay, it doesn't cost you anything. We're here summarizing the news for you. You might as well give us a like so that we could grow this channel. Thank you very much.
And no, please, your engagement with the streams helps a lot because we talk about stuff that
Yes.
is controversial, that's important to learn about and know about. But YouTube disincentivizes that kind of thing, unfortunately.
Yes. Also, Susie is a bit pixely today because of her bad connection, which is unfortunate because you look adorable
Thank
and
you.
we get to well, we get to see only a little bit of that. Okay, but it's not our fault. You don't need to adjust anything. It's just her connection. Okay, which is weird. Last night I had connection issues and I was pixely, and now you're pixely. We're never gonna get this right. All right. Do you want to say anything else or highlight anything before or
Well, actually, so before we dive into our full list of news this week, I want to touch on something really funny that I heard about recently. So, if you watched our news show last week, you'll remember a story that we talked about where there is a former foreign minister of India. His name is Salman Khurshid, or yeah, that's right. And we talked about how he published a book recently called Sunrise Over Ayodhya, and he talks about a lot of stuff, mostly promoting like inter-religious harmony in India. But in it, he has one sentence where he draws a comparison between Hindu nationalism or Hindutva and ISIS. And because of this, some Hindu nationalists tripped over themselves to prove his point and
they
set his
burned down his
cottage on
house?
fire.
Oh
So
yeah. They're like, we're
the
not like
update,
ISIS. Let us
yeah,
prove it to you by burning down your house. Like, oh my god, yeah. Congrats. You
so
just made his
crazy.
point. You just made his
Um,
point. Yeah.
so the update is that um our friend of mine, who is our secret sexy Cali lawyer in India, as we call her, she brought to my
Yes.
attention that there is a specific attorney by the name of Vineet Jindal, who, this might ring a bell to some people. He is the attorney that tried to sue Facebook over hosting our content, tried to sue India's own Ministry of Information and like electronic technology for like allowing our blasphemous content to be visible. Tried to sue Twitter
Yes. Yes.
itself. He was a main factor in like all the judicial harassment we've been facing. Well, she sent me this article about how he went to court and tried to get this book by the former minister Salman Khurshid banned because
Wow.
of one sentence he had where he like made that comparison. She was
Amazing.
like, look at this
Amazing.
article, blah, blah, blah. And I was reading it. I was like, wait a second. Vineet Jindal? Wait a second. Like, it's the same guy. He's still at it. And we were just laughing
Okay.
because I don't think he has any actual clients. He just
Yeah.
takes it upon
He
himself
just
to do this.
he just fights people who offend Hinduism. By the way, Bal saying, do you really think Hinduism and ISIS are the same? No, we're not. Okay, people. When you compare two things, it doesn't mean you think they're the same. If they were the same, there wouldn't be any point comparing them because it would be the identical things. You don't compare an apple with an apple. There has to be some differences for you to be able to compare them with each other. All right, let's get to the news.
No, you can talk about
we have to get to the first news.
similarities. Yeah, we do have to go to the first news.
All right, can we clap for the first news?
Yeah, let's clap.
First news.
First news. ISIS sex slave survivors book event canceled due to Islamophobia in Toronto. The Toronto District School Board, or TDSB, has recently canceled a book event featuring Nadia Murad, author of The Last Girl, My Story of Captivity and My Fight Against the Islamic State. 28-year-old Murad is a survivor of the Yazidi genocide, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, and a human rights activist. She was captured by ISIS at the age of 19 and was taken into slavery for 3 months before she escaped. According to TDSB, Murad's book could offend some Muslim students and promote, quote, Islamophobia. This event was supposed to be held by a Room of Your Own book club, which holds author discussion events with girls between the ages of 13 to 18 years old. Rex Murphy, a commentator for the National Post, slammed the equity department of the TDSB, saying the case of Nadia Murad combines determined ignorance with profound insult.
Wait, what are they calling Islamophobia exactly?
Her book, where she talks about how most of her family and a huge portion of her ethnic group was straight up genocided by ISIS.
I don't understand. Are we okay, this doesn't make no sense, okay? Are they saying being anti-ISIS is now Islamophobia? Is that what they're saying?
It's not like, I mean, that's one way that it could be interpreted. Like, they seem to have no ability to make the distinction between ISIS and Islam and Muslims.
Well, I mean, ISIS is okay. No, so ISIS ideology is Islam, right? But yeah,
yes,
yeah, but between Islam and Muslims, I agree with that. But okay, what they don't seem to understand is that I think Muslims. I think a lot of Muslims would be offended by this. Okay, even a lot of Muslims who would go around and say that, oh, this is Islamophobia or that is Islamophobia. I think if you're a Muslim and you hear that these non-Muslims are saying you speaking out against ISIS is Islamophobia, that would be them saying that ISIS is Islam. And I think a lot of Muslims who would have an issue with calling ISIS Islam have a problem with calling any anti-ISIS narrative Islamophobia. Like, there's like, do you know what I mean? Like, wouldn't they be like, this is not a, like, I think Muslims should lead the way, be like, this is like not Islam. What are you saying? I mean, you know what? Maybe we should, hey, here's a thought. Maybe we should support this. Maybe we should be like, oh yeah, it's true. Being anti-ISIS is Islamophobia because ISIS is the true face of Islam, right? Like, if Islamophobia, it means being against ISIS, then I guess consider us Islamophobes. I don't know. Like, okay, I don't know what.
I see what you did there.
Like, are they somewhat legitimizing Islamophobia? Like, aren't they like giving some legitimacy? If even as and being anti-ISIS is Islamophobia, then I don't think anybody could say that it's wrong to be Islamophobic. I don't know. It's just getting so many different.
It's really absurd. Like, so the founder of this book club for girls even contacted the school board and tried to talk about how there is a distinction between, like, just talking about what happened to the Yazidi people and Muslims, and they just had no ability to like draw the distinction, which is shocking. Apparently the school board has been on a lot of other crazy stuff as well. For example, so it wasn't just Nadia's book event that was canceled. It was also a book event with the Egyptian Canadian lawyer Marine Henyan. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but she's a top Canadian lawyer, and her event was canceled simply because she was the defense for a TV host that was accused of sexual assault. So now serving as a defense lawyer is like a reason to be canceled. The main part of the news that I want to focus on is Nadia's story. And it's just absolutely crazy. This was met with such a large amount of outrage. There are so many people just talking about how much of an insult this is to not only like specifically Iraqi religious minorities, but many Iraqis themselves who, had to survive this horrific insurgence of terrorism in their country. And to act as if talking about your experiences is now promoting bigotry against an entire group of religious people. It's insane. It's patently insane. I had so many people messaging me this story. They wanted us to cover it this week. And they're asking for my opinion. I was like, they've just lost their mind. Like, who thought that this made any sense? It's crazy. Apparently this has to...
I always think like I mean this might be wrong, but this story must be an outlier because accusations of Islamophobia have been the accusation of Islamophobia have been going down in the past couple of years. You know what I mean? Like people have moved on to other things to be offended by, but these people, I guess, like are still stuck in the past. I don't know. Like, am I wrong about this? Like, I think like this is a outlier case. I have another. Yeah, go on.
I don't know. So I think I'm not very familiar with Toronto local politics or what's going on with the school board, but this school board seems to have a serious like overcorrecting woke problem. Like there was a huge controversy because they literally burned thousands of books that offended Indigenous people in like a fire purification.
Literally burned them. Amazing.
Yes, and used the ashes in like a purification ritual, which is like, this gets into levels of like new age plus woke woo that I just like can't even. But I'm less familiar with the details of that. But people are just like really pointing their fingers at overzealous equity focus.
Somebody in the live chat saying canceling this because it might offend some Muslims is ridiculous. What happened to if you don't like something? I don't really think this is about Muslims even. I think this is about themselves. You know what I mean? I don't like. I mean, we have a lot of issues with like sensitivity in the Muslim community. I don't think this would be one of those. I don't think like a lot of Muslims will come and say, "How dare you condemn ISIS?" You know what I mean? I think this is just like I think this is more of a leftist thing than a Muslim
I do want to clarify something really quickly. So the relationship between the school board and the book event is that the school board, when things were in person, they would they kind of have endorsed this book club, so students would be able to get a day off from it, and then in preparation for the book club, they would like distribute these books to students for free, or like they'd be involved in that. But when these two books for these two authors came up, that's when they had to cancel and nix everything.
One
Retard Skeptic is saying, I genuinely can't fathom the angle on this. They'd rather empathize with genuine ISIS sympathizers than a victim of ISIS who Muslims they themselves would sympathize with. Yeah,
I don't think they're thinking about empathizing with anybody. I think that they just have like these few, metrics of what something becomes. It's not like really. It's not about like making sense. It's about these are the narratives that sounds Islamophobic or I don't know, transphobic or homophobic or whatever. It doesn't have to actually be these things, as long as it has certain attributes that is similar to the narratives that comes from people who are what they call Islamophobic, or like you could be even pro, for example, trans or pro Muslim, but as long as you have certain key terms or certain talking points that it just makes you seem like you're in another camp, that's enough to be like, okay, you're off. You know what I mean? They act like they're like robots rather than actually thinking agent, which is actually weird, because they're treating Muslim like they're not thinking agent. Because what is this like? Are they suggesting that Muslims like can't do bad? Like, are they not gonna? If you get harmed by somebody that happens to be like a Muslim, can you not talk about it because they're Muslim? Like, are we trying to hide the fact that Muslims also do like are capable of doing bad things? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like challenging the agency of Muslims as a whole. Do you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? I mean, even here's the thing: even if Islam was not a violent religion, which it is, at some point Muslims would be doing like they're people and they would be doing bad stuff. Are we not gonna like cover that? Like, I don't understand. Just because they like they could do the most evil stuff and you're not gonna your people can't talk about it because of the religion of the people who committed it. It's I don't
That
understand
actually
how this
reminds
works.
me. Can you bring up that tweet from Mohammed Syed that I sent you?
Let me check.
Because he makes an excellent point regarding
Oh,
exactly what you're saying.
there we
So,
go.
Mohammed Syed, who is the ED of Ex-Muslims of North America, tweeted this article and said, racism, the idea that only white people have agency, only white people have histories or ideologies with unsavory, horrifying elements, that growth by confronting complexity is only possible to them. And then he put a little asterisk note: Muhammad, meaning the Prophet Muhammad, was a sex slaver who ISIS emulated.
Okay,
so here
Muhammad
he's making the point that
Muhammad Sayyid speaks very well. You know what I mean? He can,
Yes.
you know, both Muhammad Sayyid and Sarah Haider, they just phrase things in the most perfect way. But go on. Yeah.
Oh no, I mean he's making an excellent point. In a way, it's kind of like the reverse of the bigotry of low expectations. It's like it's like a infantilizing of a group. It's treating them as like children, or because humans are incredibly complex creatures. So whenever you make an effort to deny a group their complexity, and that inherently entails their crimes and inhuman abusive behavior, you are therefore denying their humanity.
Right. Yeah. You're basically have purified them to the point that you're claiming that they can't do anything wrong. It's just like, yeah, it's beyond Islam has no is not responsible for terrorism. It's like you're incapable of doing evil stuff. Like your group of people, unlike everybody else, unlike every other ethnic group, your or religious identity or whatever, your group of people just cannot like. It doesn't even have free. There's no free will. I mean, technically there isn't, but you know what I mean. Anyways, we're not going to get into that.
Okay, don't get him started on determinism. Okay, we got to shut that down right now.
shut it down. They're getting too philosophical. All right. Should we clap? Wait, somebody was asking if like ISIS is like Islamic in the live chat. We have already mentioned many times. ISIS ideology is the closest to following Islam word by word. Okay, it is. It's not 100%, but it's the closest we have. So that's what we always say here. Can we clap for the next news?
Yeah, let's clap.
Next
news: spit jihad, the latest anti-Muslim accusation from Hindu-Nationalists. On Monday, November 15th, a 7-second video of quote-unquote evidence of thuk, or spit jihad, spread like wildfire on social media and was amplified by several right-wing Indian media outlets. The video shows a Muslim man baking chapatis, or unleavened flatbread, and allegedly spitting on the bread. The man filming the video can be heard calling Muslims pigs and encouraging others to quote unquote boycott these mullahs. Hardline right-wing groups in India are using the video and similar footages to accuse Muslim minorities of attacking Hindus by contaminating their food. The Muslim man seen on the video was detained following a complaint filed by Hindu Raksha Dal, or Hindu Safety Organization. Speaking to The Wire, a worker from a popular restaurant in Delhi explained that sometimes the bakers need to blow extra dry flour so that the bread will stick properly while being cooked. Quote, "These videos are false stories meant to spread hatred," the worker added.
Wait, so if it's false, then what actually happened?
So, I've watched a lot of these videos, and the quality of the footage isn't always very good, so it's hard to actually for you to say what is going on. But basically, you see someone going down into close to the
it doesn't look like an actual spit. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, so supposedly they're blowing air into it. So I've heard multiple explanations for this. I've heard some people say that it like the worker was saying, oh, it's to like blow flour into it to make sure that things cook properly. And then I've heard some other sources say that it's part of like an archaic tradition that actually not many people do, called like the Fatiha Jalana, where you're supposed to blow on people to give them blessings. So sometimes they like blow on a kid's head to give that child blessings, or they'll blow on the food. So there are like multiple explanations for what's actually going on here.
I mean, if they're doing that, that should stop. That's not sanitary, but it's not like spit jihad. And it's not.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's like horrible. Like, it's a horrible thing to do, especially now with this whole the Cove thing situation going around. But again, I feel like we're in a situation in India that like we're gonna find like videos of, I don't know, Muslims exercising, and they're gonna be like fit jihad. They're getting fit so that for the day that comes and they're gonna take over India. And then like, I don't know, like you're gonna see Muslims, I don't know, like sleeping, and they're gonna be like sleep jihad. They're like getting a lot of rest so that they could attack us more effectively. I don't know. We have to come up with our own like conspiracy jihad in India. Like, if I could think of something.
Well, that's why I wanted to cover this story, because this is just the latest installment of our 50 Shades of Jihad. we have love jihad, yeah. We have land jihad, we have spit jihad, we have oh shoot, there was another one, fruit jihad, which ties into the spit jihad thing.
Oh my god.
Do you remember fruit jihad?
No, what is fruit jihad?
So at the beginning, can we talk about the Cove? Not like
just say
detail.
Cove.
Okay. So in the beginning of the big disease that's been going around for the past 2 years, okay, there was a conspiracy theory that Muslims, particularly street vendors and fruit vendors, were spitting on fruit that they were going to sell to Hindus to contaminate them, to give them the Cove. We all know what I'm talking about, and to make them sick, apparently. This was proved to be false. And what's interesting about this spit jihad thing coming up once again is that I was reading different Indian websites that were looking at like media analysis of how Indian media covered this, and a lot of the footages that were used in these reports that like came up again recently were old. They had already been disproved many times, and they were recycling them. So they were like recycling fake news stories about this spitting thing. And I read this whole analysis of how on I think it's News 18, I can't remember the name of the anchor of the news program off the top of my head, but they were basically trying to frame this as, oh, it doesn't matter what the religion is, it doesn't matter what the community is, like this is a sanitary issue. And if that I actually agree with. But
That I
then
actually agree with. But you guys
the
look
remainder of their
insane.
news program, was like, I don't even know if you can call it thinly veiled anti-Muslim bigotry, because I think it just was.
Yeah.
And it was so bad to the point that this
Is he
news
actually
source,
spitting? Like, look at this video. Is he actually spitting in the food? This
so
is
this
like,
is an older clip that's already been disproven.
all right,
So
here's the thing.
apparently,
This is actually not anti-Hindu. I think this is anti-Muslim. Muslims, like, I think a lot of these food is going to be eaten by other Muslims, and they're spitting in it. Like, this is not spit jihad. This is like a sanitary issue that I think most of the victims of it are going to be other Muslims, because I mean, Muslims cook food for other Muslims more often. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Also, I think like this is like a self-fulfilling, might end up being a self-fulfilling policy, prophecy. Every time they come up with one of these jihads, like it might be just like one person that might like, or maybe it wasn't even a thing, and then now you guys made it a thing. I mean, like, there are 200 million Muslims in India, okay? Like, almost 200 million, okay? So if you go, if there wasn't a spit jihad, and now you go around and go like, hey, they're doing this to Hindus. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of these Muslims are like, at least some of them, I mean, a lot of them are upset with Hindus. Some of them, I mean, at least some of them are going to be wanting to get revenge. And now that you go out and say like, hey, they're spitting in food and giving it to Hindus, some of them are going to be like, you know what, maybe I should. You know what I mean? Like, you're giving, like, maybe you're making it a thing. Maybe it wasn't a thing, and now you're making it a thing by spreading these ideas. I don't know. Do you think that's possible?
I don't know. I think it's
I mean, there's
hilarious how
200.
Hindutva Susanna here is saying atheists defending spit jihad. Lord Annapurna, please forgive humans. Okay, I don't know where you heard us defend this. I've just been trying to
It's a
explain
joke.
what's happening
It's a
here.
joke.
I do think
She's
this is
joking.
unsanitary. I think
Mm.
the difference is how it's been amplified as um, a way to target, harass, and demonize Muslims. And I read a really interesting article that detailed the organization, this Hindu safety organization that filed these complaints. And basically, they have a pattern of um, trying to expose these people, meaning Muslims, for like purposefully contaminating the food of Hindus. And this is a pattern, and this is something they seem to seek out, and they're affiliated with all of these people who have either been arrested or gotten in major trouble for spreading serious violent, like incitement to violence rhetoric against Muslims. And even in their videos, when they're catching people doing these things, and then they later try to frame it as, oh, no matter the community, this is a health issue. In the video where they're framing these people, you can hear them saying bigoted things against Muslims. So it kind of undercuts their credibility.
Yeah, actually, one thing. Like, hold on. One thing that you have to realize, that people are like, well, this is still a sanitary issue. Like, yeah, and you're ruining the investigation of it by calling it spit jihad and being such anti-Muslim bigots. You know what I mean? Like, you're making it. First of all, you're going to be spreading it. Second of all, you're going to make it you're going to make something that was maybe a sanitary issue into a conspiracy theory, and also that's how you're going to make it a lot harder to deal with. So congratulations. Maybe if you see something that is a sanitary issue, just report it as a sanitary issue rather than goddamn spit jihad. You know what I mean? Also, Raman in the live chat is saying there's probably also poop jihad. What would that be like? Poop jihad. Are they going to be starting?
That's a
Are
good
they going
question.
to? I don't know. Somebody explain to us. Are they going to start throwing feces at each other?
I hope not.
Yeah, go on.
So it's interesting because a lot of this ties back into in the beginning of the cove, the disease. There was a huge issue with this viral story about basically Muslims being the purveyor of Cove and being dirty and being the ones who are basically unleashing this like foreign disease upon India. And this was partially blamed on this Islamic missionary group called Tabliki Jamaat. And the research or evidence that I've seen, I mean, okay, well, one, I do think Tabligi Jamaat like is possibly a cult. So I don't approve of that organization. I just want to say that first. But basically, it's been widely discredited that just like Muslims are the reasons why the Cove spread in India. There was a lot more than going into it. So this is like the latest continuation in a wider narrative that's been amplified over the past 2 years of Muslims being the purveyor of disease in India. Because no other community has been seen doing it. No videos of evidence or Hindus, Buddhists, or Christians doing this. I highly doubt that. I'm sure you could find this. Cosm is saying Armin left for Jihad. True. Megumin is saying Tabliki Jamaat is a gang of fundamentalist Muslims who want all Muslims to live like the 7th century in this time and age. Yeah, no, Tabliki Jamaat, like I'm super sketched out by them. I need to learn more about the organization, but everything I have learned so far, I'm not a fan of at all. Well, and what's interesting,
well, actually, can I respond to something you highlighted?
Go ahead.
When you say because no other community has been doing it, I mean, no other community has a billion. Well, I mean, not a billion. Many Hindus walking around recording them, trying to catch them, do some form of a jihad. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure given how much anti-Muslim bigotry exists in India, and given how many people with phone are just walking around trying to catch a Muslim do something that they could put on social media, I'm sure you're gonna find some things. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why it might be this. You're gonna find more things Muslim doing than any other community, right? But yeah, go on.
So a large part of this conspiracy theory was amplified by let me find his name really quickly. Aman Chopra on his show that he has on News 18. And ironically, the name of his TV show was called We Will Not Let the Country Lower Itself, where he has like what a horrible record in terms of his credibility of his journalism.
Wow.
So it got majorly amplified by him dedicating an hour of Indian news time to this story, where he had a whole panel on talking about this, and it included former BJP spokesman and 2 Muslim panelists as well, I believe, as well as several other like hardline Hindu supporters. And they tried to just the narratives that they were putting forth about Muslims was crazy. So it very quickly devolved into asking if Muslims like also pee in the food for other people. Like there's this one specific kind of dish where they're like, does it get the yellow color because they're peeing in it? And
oh my God,
they make vague references to like Muslim Bollywood actors like spitting on people. And this is like the way that the English translations of the news program communicate this. It makes it sound as if they're like attributing some sort of like mysterious power of vigor, like to the spit of the Muslims, because they were making a reference to the Bollywood actor Amir Khan. Like he would do a prank where he would like spit on someone's hand instead of doing a palm reading. And obviously from his name, he has a Muslim background. Also, Amir Khan must be protected at all costs. That's just my own prerogative. But yeah, they were talking about how like Muslims have like just taken over it just devolved into all these different aspects and conspiracy theories against Muslims, particularly in Uttar Pradesh. which isn't entirely surprising. But what makes this even more worrying is that, okay, so one, they aired this on, I think it was the 18th. And then very shortly afterwards, they removed all of the footage of this from their own YouTube channel because they could probably tell very quickly that this violates all sorts of terms of service for YouTube. Also, it's blatantly false. And
Yeah. Also,
then
guys, like,
wait,
let's
this
just
is,
make
let
clear.
me
No, no,
finish.
no, no. Before you finish, YouTube, none of this is our view. We are just reporting what other people are doing. We are like, this is not our views. We're just reporting the news, and we're against these conspiracy theories being spread. Yeah, go on.
Yes. Well, so not only was this amplified by Aman Chopra on his show, it also the title of this segment was called like spit jihad, like jihad or barbarism. And then the next day,
What?
Narendra Modi, the next day, the prime minister, Modi, follows Chopra on Twitter. And he had this huge announcement. So many people are seeing this as an endorsement in many ways from the prime minister himself after
Okay,
like
that's a.
this big segment.
I don't know. I think that's another conspiracy. We don't know, but I just want to say, like, it must be really stressful to be Muslim in India right now, right? Like, think about, like, you could do. By the way, here's the thing: if you're Muslim and 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 you're in India and a Hindu does something unfair to you, I don't know if you could like do anything about it because you get into so much trouble. Like, everything you do is being watched and monitored and could be attributed to the entire Muslim community at large if you just do any mistakes. Like, it's kind of like in China but by the people, like the level of monitoring that is being happening. Like, look, China is monitoring Muslims, but India doesn't have to. You just have the community just recording them nonstop, and just like if you just step out of the house, you just have to know, like, I better not misbehave today, or else I could be, become used as fuel for hatred against all Muslims in all the entirety of India. Um, I don't know. That seems like extremely stressful. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, I agree. I think it obviously depends a lot on your area. So
Hmm.
I have friends that are Indian Muslims, and um, I don't get the impression that it's an active part of their daily worry. But yeah, it definitely highly depends on your community and your locality. Um, D is saying anti-Muslim bigots will try to make even the best people look bad with this nonsense. True. Um, okay, but I have an assignment. Okay, first of all, blank name is saying, does Susie have a crush on Amir Khan? The answer is yes. Okay, Lagan and Three Idiots are two of my favorite movies of all times. Okay. Anyways, I need someone to help me make a little graphic design for 50 Shades of Jihad. I want a 50 Shades of Jihad shirt. I'm just
Wait,
trying to figure out what would the graphic be. That just seems like the opportunity for a fantastic t-shirt. And I want it.
can we make it a BDSM theme? Like, Muslims will come and they would like tie you up in this position, and then they would edge you, edge
Oh
jihad.
no.
Hey, like, I don't know, the hog tie jihad, the edge jihad. I don't know. We could come up with other things. Yeah, we could make it sexy. We could make it appealing. We could make like Hindus who are subs all of a sudden be like, wait, is this what Muslims actually do? Like, maybe this was a mistake. Maybe we should like let them. What? That's my plan. I know this. I'm gonna bring the community together. Um, oh my god. Okay, so yeah, like, you Hindus, you've been dominated once before by Islam, but this time you would actually enjoy it. How about
Oh my god, that's not gonna go
that?
over well.
No, no, no.
It's
Like, they
not gonna
came
go
and
over well
they
at all.
dominated the Islamic Empire, dominated you once, and you didn't like it, but they will dominate it. They will dominate you again, And this time they would make up for it by making you actually like it. Yeah, this is actually good. I like it. I like it. We should go with that. The jihad that Hindus will actually not use their safe word on. I guess I don't know. But I have to think about this.
Yeah,
They will say
we
no
need to
to.
take that
They
back to the
will.
writers'
They will
room.
say. They will say no to. But do they actually mean it? I don't know.
We need to workshop that one.
Yeah. Okay. Armin, isn't that what radical Hindus made of? No, that was like completely. Yeah, that was unconsent. This is like something about something that is people want. Right? This is about something that is like completely consensual. Right? We're gonna bring Hindus and Muslims together. Right? Was this? There was also what?
Viraj is saying there was also IAS Jihad, where they maligned these hardworking, studious Muslims who topped the national exam for development of the country.
Well, oh
There was like a
yes,
conspiracy, that
we
they
should add
couldn't
that
have
to the
gotten those
list.
results themselves.
Yes, we should add that to the list. All right. So, can we clap for the next news?
Yes, we can.
Next news.
Next news. Jewish cult convicted of kidnapping and child sexual exploitation. So this is me giving some claps for the feds. On November 10th, two top leaders of the Jewish extremist cult, Lev Tahor, were convicted in federal court by the United States Department of Justice, or DOJ, on charges of kidnapping and child sexual exploitation. 39-year-old Nanchman Helbrands and 45-year-old Meir Rosner were both involved with the planning and execution of the kidnapping of Helbrands' 14-year-old niece and 12-year-old nephew. Around 2017, Helbrands arranged for his then 12-year-old niece to marry an 18-year-old adult. The following year, the two were religiously quote unquote married. They were never legally married and began obligatory sexual relationships right away. In October 2018, the child's mother escaped with them from Lev Tahor's Guatemalan compound to the United States and was later awarded sole custody of the children. After the mother escaped, Helbrands and Rosner began creating a plan to return the 14-year-old girl to her husband so that, quote, they could resume their sexual relationship and procreate. According to the DOJ, the group smuggled the children from the U.S. to Mexico using aliases, drop phones, fake travel documents, and encrypted applications. After weeks of searching, the children were recovered from Mexico. There were two further kidnapping attempts on these children in 2019 and 2021. Rosner and Helbrands face a potential maximum sentence of life imprisonment for their offenses.
Good job stopping this.
Yes.
Thank you to everybody responsible for making this happen.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Is at the time and during the period of them making this conspiracy for kidnapping and attempting to execute this plan for kidnapping, this was the same time that this extremist, ultra-Orthodox, anti-Zionist Jewish cult was applying for asylum in the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Wait, that's them? That's them?
Yes. Yes.
Amazing. Amazing. Did they manage to? So they were. Oh yeah. So they wanted. Oh yeah, you're right. They asked for asylum because they're being targeted for these activities.
Yeah. So
they feel they feel like they're being persecuted, right? Persecuted or persecuted? Persecuted. And they want safety. They're like, we're being oppressed. We're being oppressed by these people who don't let us. I don't know if I could say this. Basically, molest little kids. Okay, we want to molest little kids. It's a religious thing. Don't ask why. And they don't let us. So we bring oppress. The Islamic Republic of Iran. Can you please protect us? Can you please give us asylum? We hate, and also it's very fitting because The Islamic Republic of Iran also approves of legally approves of child molestation. So, and also these Jewish cult, they're anti-Israel, right? Very much like Iran.
Extremely.
So they're extremely anti-Israel. Israel, and guess what? Iran loves the Islamic Republic of Iran loves Jewish people who look extremely Jewish, who are anti-Israel. They just love to take them to seminars and meetings and show them around, and just have like these religious-looking Muslim Iranians sitting next to these Orthodox Jewish-looking people and talk crap about Israel. Be like, look, we're not anti-Jewish. We are getting along with this, like brother, like fellow Ahl Kitab, uh, brother from another religion, people who are like anti-Israel like us. They love these people, and they bring them, like they want to make sure they look as Jewish as they possibly can, and sit next to them and talk crap about Israel. So they're like a match made in heaven. Like Israel, Iran could give them protection against the United States, and they could basically do whatever they want with children in Iran because it's legal there. And also they both hate Israel. Like it's a match made in heaven. I don't know the Islamic one or the Jewish one, but one of them.
No, and it definitely helps that this group, the nickname for them is the jihadi Jews, because the women are dressed like in chadors. Like they
Yeah.
look like they wear full chador, like sometimes even full burqa. Like they go way farther on the modesty and covering of women than even other very ultra orthodox Jewish communities. Like they're very extreme. And so they kind of started, if I'm remembering correctly, like in the United States and Canada, and then they got chased out of both of those places. And then they ended up in Mexico, and then they've just everywhere they go, people don't like them. So they go between Mexico and Guatemala, and they keep on having issues there. So now they're trying to escape everything and go to Iran. I think I heard that that's not actually going to go through, but I'm not completely sure.
Oh, it's not gonna work out. That's so sad. Like how? Okay. By the way, there are a lot of like anti-Israel, anti-Zionist Jewish people who are already in Iran, and they get used a lot by the Islamic Republic of Iran. But if these people are not accepted in Iran, like how bad do they have to be? Like these people must be a special, this specific cult. I hope like YouTube, we're not like being okay. We're talking about a very specific cult. Okay, please don't strike us down for being anti-Semitic or anything like that. Okay, like please understand. I hope this is like the FBI is after these people. Okay, like don't like if we're being anti-Semitic. Yeah, okay, like I hope like if we get a strike, this is us letting know
The
whoever doing
Department
the
of
manual.
Justice agrees that they
Yeah.
do a no-no. They do the no-no. We are talking about
Yes.
them doing the no-no.
Yeah, no, but I just want to make sure I add this here so that if we do get a strike, I could refer to the person who's doing the manual review to this part of the video that we're clearly saying we're talking about this cult, okay? Yeah, okay. So that, but there must be a special kind of cult, given that nobody likes, like they can't find anybody who likes like even the Islamic Republic of Iran is like, sheesh, you guys are like, nah, maybe it's it looks bad for the Islamic Republic if they're providing asylum for people who are specifically running away because they want to have sex with children. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe that's
Yeah.
like a little bit even too. That's even a bit too much even for Iran. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. No, I was talking to Rivka about this, and she was the one who told me that Iran rejected them. I actually need to fact check that, but I was like, if that's the case, things are bad when Iran is like, oh,
Yeah.
despite our intense anti-Zionism that we both share, even I cannot get on board.
Yeah.
But what's
I,
crazy is how far these people go. Like, so after the founder died, I think it is Helbron, one of these two men who's taken over as the leader. Both of the two who were convicted are very senior and top leaders in the organization. But ever since the founder died, they like doubled down on their most extreme practices, and this includes just straight up child marriage. And to the point, they tell girls to lie about their age. They don't let them leave the house, and they don't oftentimes they don't let the girls seek medical treatment and go to the hospital, because if they go to the hospital when they're having their baby, the true age of these children will be revealed. So it's just like
Wow.
like such systemic abuse like within this cult and this organization that puts specifically young girls at such a high risk of fatal consequences. It's crazy. So I really I wanted to give an update because I remember we talked about this group being charged with these issues a few months ago, and now the Department of Justice has said that they can move forward and convict at least 2. There are a few other members of this group who are American citizens who are also facing charges in relation to all of these crimes, and that this is just one instance of them going after 2 kids, trying to kidnap them repeatedly for years. Like they have so many other abusive practices. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so should we clap for the next news?
Sure.
All right. Wait, hold on. Okay. Next news.
Next news. Iran limits condom usage. On November 16th, Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi signed into law the, quote, Rejuvenation of the Population and Support of the Family Bill, which sparked a backlash from human rights watchdogs, NGOs for women's rights, and HIV and AIDS prevention advocacy groups. The bill, which is due to be enacted within a few weeks, will prohibit sterilization and the distribution of free contraceptives in Iran's public healthcare system. The only outlined exception is when a pregnancy will threaten a woman's life. According to Tara Sepirfri Far, senior Iran researcher for the Human Rights Watch, Iran's legislators are ignoring the severe problems of incompetence, corruption, and repression that obliterated the nation's economy and therefore motivates couples to have fewer or entirely forgo having children. Instead, they approved a law that, quote, blatantly undermines the rights, dignity, and health of half of the country's population. Far added that the Iranian government is, quote, denying them access to essential reproductive care and information. The law will likely make more individuals, quote, highly vulnerable to HIV and lead to an increase in cases of HIV infection in the country.
They literally care about, these are like, just like other right-leaning people, they care about birth rate more than anything else, right? More than many other things, right? They just want to keep increasing the population, so much so that they want to increase the size of the ummah, the Muslim community, so much that if it comes at the expense of spreading disease among their citizens, this is a government that is like, if our measures, like, think about this, other countries that are dealing with like low birth rates, they're like incentivizing people. They're like, maybe like we will pay you if you have babies. Maybe we'll do this for you. We will have childcare. We'll do this. We'll make it easy for you. Please, please, please go have sex. Have sex. Like, what do we have to do, right? And some more mature countries were like, we don't need to do anything. We're just like bringing immigrants. That's all you need to do, right? But yeah, that would be the best answer.
Based.
But again, yeah, but these people, they're like, we were going to go with the cheapest way possible, and we care so little for our citizens that we will use methods that will actually spread diseases among our citizens because we don't give a crap about our people. Like, think about that. We don't give a crap about, like they know this is not something that is foreign to them. Like, this is used for reducing sexual diseases spreading. They know that, and they know by removing this option, the sexual diseases, will increase. Like, this is not something that is foreign to them. They know that, but they're willing to pay the cost because they're not the ones who are going to pay the cost. It's the people. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
How
it's
how did
really.
go on?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I want to ask you something after you make your point.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because I mean it could be argued, and I actually think that this isn't necessarily a religiously motivated um thing. Like the issues with Iran's birth rate has been going on for a long time. I
Yep.
learned today that in the 80s, mid 80s, Iran had a birth rate of 6.1 children per woman. And now it's the lowest in the Middle East. And trying to force people to have children like over and over and over again, it just doesn't work. You can incentivize it. The bill also included other things like tax credits and stuff like that. And many countries try to implement these things as well, and it's not enough to motivate people to have more children, especially
Hmm.
in the shape that the Iranian economy is in right now. And I wanted to cover this news because a few weeks ago we talked about how there were rumblings that there is the possibility of women's pregnancies being tracked. So like you go into the doctor to just get a pregnancy test, or maybe you go into the doctor and while they're doing other tests, you just happen to find out that you're pregnant. Well, there were rumblings that these are now going to be tracked so that they can then find women who are having illegal abortions, because there's very tight restrictions on abortions in Iran right now. And now it's clamping down even further. They're not even allowing the distribution of free contraceptives anymore. Some hardline some hardliners, conservative hardliners, are trying to say that family planning is like a Western invention, that family planning is like un-Islamic, or that it's like outside foreign influence, which I think is insane. Partly because when I grew up as a Catholic, like the idea of natural family planning was so heavily promoted as an alternative to birth control that having family planning painted as like some sort of anti-religious thing just doesn't compute in my brain. But that's my own upbringing. Armin, it looks like you had something you wanted to show.
Well, I wanted to mention a few. Okay, let me show you the graph first. This was the birth rate, fertility rate in Iran, right? One thing I want to mention about fertility rates in Iran is that fertility rates usually drops this much when a country has a lot of progress, right? Iran is getting the worst of both worlds, right? So usually when a country is a lot more economically developed and keeps progressing and people make more money and there's a lot of career opportunities for women, and people are making better plans for the future because there's so much hope for what things could be, fertility rates drop. Okay, that's a problem that advanced countries deal with. Countries that have solved a lot of their problems, they have to deal like, and fertility rates dropping is a problem that they have to deal with. But obviously it's a worthly problem. It's a good problem to have, because if you have that problem, that means so many other things are going good for your country, right? Unfortunately for Iran, they're having this problem of dropped fertility rates without actually having the progress that is responsible for it. Do you know what I mean? In other countries, like, so you're getting screwed from all directions. Like, so that's, and also look at this. The fertility rate in Iran has dropped, like as you mentioned, so the revolution was in 1979. So fertility rate was 6.4, right?
Damn.
Now the fertility rate just dropped all the way down to 2.146, which means that it's almost at the replacement rate. This is like really low. The replacement rate is 2.1. Like, this is something that you can, like, it's going to be devastating for Iran because of you can't, one thing at least that these countries have going for them is a young population that could be used as a working force for the future, right? You know what I mean? Like, if you look at other poor countries, they were like, oh my god, everything is bad, but hey, we have this capital to tap into. We have this young generation of red people who are ready. Like, as soon as anything it ends up being better, we have like a labor force to tap into right away, and they will be able to work and pay taxes, and it's going to work out. Like there's hope. But Iran doesn't even is even losing even that, which is horrible. However, the solution is not to the solution is not to remove condoms. Okay, obviously. I do want to respond to some of the things that you mentioned. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but before I mention that, I do want to say that one thing Iran could be doing is to bringing. Actually, no. You know what? They just have to fix the economy first before they do anything else. Like you can't bring in immigration when the issue is not. Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to say that. I do. When you mentioned that this is like more of an economic thing rather than a religious thing, is that what you said? I do want to mention
Um,
that it is
well,
actually
this is just the latest in many, many, many efforts to increase the birth rate in Iran. They
yeah, but this
use
has
religion towards this end, but I do not think that this is like, oh, condoms, that's against God's will. Like, they might paint it as that.
actually
I don't think that's the actual motivator.
actually like this you could it would make a little bit more sense for us to like at least sympathize somewhat with the officials if some of their talk if a lot of their motivations seem to be economical, like I just mentioned. Okay, like, hey, this is going to be bad for our economy. Okay, and therefore we need like a bit more grow our young age. We can't let this happen. We have to go above the replacement rate and all of that. But it's not coming from the very high up all the way to Khamenei himself. This is about increasing the size of the ummah. This is about increasing a Muslim community, the Shia community. The main
Mm,
main arguments they have for why we need to increase birth rate is that the Sunnis are actually in Iran actually do have high birth rates, and they see that as a danger. So if they were only worrying about birth population, and this was not about religion, they would see that as a positive. Or like, hey, look, the Sunnis in Iran are contributing to, like, they're having babies. That's fantastic. Like they're contributing at least somewhat to going getting us higher fertility rates. But they're like, no, this is dangerous. We need to get the Shias to step up, because if we keep going in this direction, the Sunni percentage of Iran is going to dramatically increase. If the Shias are not having babies and the Sunnis are having babies, that's a red flag for them, right? And Khamenei, every time we talk about low birth rates from Khamenei, like this is about like the Muslim community growing the number of Islams, creating soldiers in his army. Okay, so this is not about helping the economy. This is all religious mumbo jumbo. And also you also see a lot of mullahs in Iran telling you that this is a religious duty for you to have kids, right? And a lot of people are saying that we can't have babies, we're suffering, we can't even afford our own food. And he's like, and you know what the response to that is, Sus?
Allah will provide.
No, you have to. It's good that to suffer. It's not like it's going to become easier. This is a cost you have to pay for the mission, for the greater good. Like, it's okay to suffer. In fact, suffering means that suffering is a good thing, because if you suffer in this world, you suffer less in the next world. And they say, like, trust me, you would rather suffer in this world. Okay, you'd rather
Oh my
suffer in this
God.
world, because suffering in the next world means you will burn. Okay, so go through the suffering. I know you're poor. I know you can't afford anything, but have 7 kids, because it's a religious duty. And then you have these mullahs and come brag about it. They're like, look, I'm on kit number 12 and I'm not going to stop. Okay. And they brag about it. And like, and then the people that are listening to him, like, but you're rich. We pay, everybody has to pay. Like the mullahs, a lot of them are rich. Like, you're rich. You can afford it. It's like, that doesn't matter. It's a religious duty. Have 12 kids. Anyways, it's
No,
insane.
that's a really good point, because correct me if I'm wrong, but the Sunni population in Iran is much more religious than the quote unquote Shia population in Iran, which is basically the Islamic Republic of Iran has obliterated its own Shia believers within the country. Like everyone, they don't like it, but the Sunnis actually do have more of an embodied faith.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Well, I mean, the yeah, and actually, I'm gonna go back to this comment later, but they see the Sunni. A lot of the regime sees Sunnis as this, I don't know, insurgent, like this fifth column. I don't know, like they see, like you could be Sunni, okay, and be born in Iran and have never left Iran, and your entire family has been born in Iran and have always lived in Iran and never known anything about Iran, but you are an agent of the enemy within Iran because you're Sunni. Like you are technically, you could be used because you're Sunni. The government will always look at you as potentially some Saudi Arabian agent that will one day be tapped into as a force against the regime. Yeah, go on.
If you're Sunni, do you still have to do conscription in Iran, or are you exempt from conscription?
Wait, I don't know about that, but let me actually, somebody ask us, hey, like, I'm gonna make sure I respond to this because somebody is offering us support. Dinesh is saying, hey Armin, how can I help you? I mean, donate money. You well, you could help us by helping yourself to our blasphemous art. If you support us on Patreon, you get access to our gorgeous nude, not safe for work blasphemous art, and also my book for free. So yeah, go to our Patreon, link in the description, or just search for Atheist Republic on Patreon, and you should be able to find that and support us. Thank you for considering that.
Yeah, or if you just want to make a one-time donation, we have the information for our PayPal in the description.
That too. Thank you very much. Also, here is another thing. Megyu Min is saying, I agree with Armin. Japan has a severe problem with this matter. Now they're welcoming Filipinos who have a high fertility rate and almost 3 kids per woman. Yeah, see, Japan is amazing because Japan, which is the country that the far-right nationalists keep using as an example for why you need to be an ethno-nationalist, because how could ethno-nationalism be bad?
The beauty of monoculturalism.
How could ethno-nationalism be bad, but Japan is so great, okay? Well, what they don't tell you is that Japan is great, has become so great, not because of its homogeneity, but in spite of it. And also Japan has been realizing that they need to ease up on their strict immigration rules because they desperately need immigrants. So Japan is maturing out of that mindset to close its borders to everybody that is not Japanese to work there. Like they're like loosening it more and more. So let's keep looking at Japan, I guess, like and see what happens, right? So these ethno-nationalists they just don't understand what they're using as an example. Yeah, Kasa is saying why they don't welcome Iranians. I mean, well, Filipinos are right by there, and actually, Filipinos are really good for as immigrants because Filipinos are really experts at the healthcare within the healthcare industry, right?
True.
And if you're having problem with an aging
California, you'll know all about that.
Yeah, if you're having problems with an aging population, you would want to probably get immigrants from a country that is specifically good at healthcare. Right. So let's go to next. All right. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes, this is funny.
Next news.
To answer the question, is cryptocurrency halal? I have surprising and heartbreaking news for you. Indonesia's Islamic Council declares cryptocurrency haram. On November 11th, Indonesia's National Ulama Council, or MUI for short, declared that cryptocurrency is haram, or religiously forbidden. According to Asrorun Niam Shole, the MUI's head of religious decrees, cryptocurrencies constitute uncertainties in their use and behave like wagering. The MUI is a body of Islamic scholars with significant influence in the country, as the council advises the government, including Indonesia's finance ministry, on its adherence to Sharia law. Cryptocurrency is currently being traded as a commodity in Indonesia, with trades between January to May of 2021 reaching $25.96. No, wait. Whoa. Sorry, way wrong. Over almost 26 billion, according to Indonesia's finance ministry. However, the Indonesian government does not officially recognize the buying power of cryptocurrencies as legal tender in the country. Despite the MUI's latest announcement, the country's central bank, Bank Indonesia, has been planning to create a digital currency, but has not yet announced any official plans.
Did this have any impact on the price? On like how many people in yeah. How significant is this council? Like when it comes,
significant.
I know. Okay, so yeah, I know. Like the government pays a lot of attention to them because I remember like looking long time ago, looking at some these people like issue their opinions on things that the government takes very seriously there. But do the people like do they have a lot of credibility and within the people? Like do people follow their? Because the good thing about cryptocurrency is that eventually when we could find ways to have exchanges that are based on the blockchain themselves, then there's going to be no government that's going to be able to stop people from getting into cryptocurrencies. You know what I mean? Like right now, so even if your coins are hidden, even if the government cannot like get rid of any cryptocurrencies because they're just up in the blockchain, there's not a force in the entire world. Even God himself cannot come and like remove any of these currencies, right? So the only way that the governments could actually influence the market is by taking actions against the exchanges that these coins are being traded on, right? And eventually, like for example, Coinbase or Binance or stuff like that, right? But eventually, the exchanges themselves, I think, are going to be challenged by, systems built by blockchain that will make people be able to swap coins with each other, independent from the exchanges themselves. And when that happens, there's nothing anybody in the world can do from people getting access to crypto completely anonymously, unless it's Bitcoin, which is not at all anonymous at all. Monero is the anonymous coin, by the way. Anyways, that's another discussion. This is not financial advice. I don't want anybody to use this, but I'm just saying, does this have? No, I said I'm not a financial expert. Don't take any of this as a advice for you two guys to invest in anything. However, I just want to ask, do we have any idea of whether or not people in Indonesia are going to be influenced by this and just buy less cryptocurrencies because of this ruling? Like, do we know anything about that?
So, like I said, at this point, it is not clear what impact this ruling will have on cryptocurrencies in Indonesia from an official governmental perspective. So it probably will influence some Muslims, but I don't know. I don't have any data on how influential or credible this council is seen as by the Indonesian public. Interestingly enough, the Ulama Council did say if cryptocurrency as a commodity or digital aspect can abide by Sharia tenets and can show a clear benefit, then it can be traded. So there are conditions in which you can have it, but in the elements where there is uncertainty, they're basically comparing it to gambling.
That is so clever. This is like getting this is getting zakat. This is basically like, if you want to make hey, you know what they're saying? They're like, if you want to invest in crypto, go ahead, but make sure you give us a cut, right? Because that's how you would justify. Because if you if you basically give some of your earnings to religious organizations, to Islamic organizations, you would be like, I am helping the Ummah, I'm helping Islam by doing trading. So because like, I don't know, I give 5% of it, or or 20% of it, or whatever, to for the growth of the Islamic community. So that makes it justified. So in a way that they could basically, they're like, make sure we get our cut. By the way, what if we make it? What if we start a token, an Islamic token? Like we should do that. Like the Kaaba token, the Allah token,
Wait, I like the
the
sound of
them
this.
the Imam Ali token, the Imam Hussein token. We could have Sunni versus Shia competition, just to see like whether the Omar token is going to increase in price faster than the Hussein token. We should have a Yazid token. We should have a Yazid token.
Oh, snap. I
um,
I was
yeah.
thinking of like maybe we could have like a Tawheed token. Like it's like the token to rule them all. Like I don't know.
Wait, that isn't that Polkadot? What is that?
I don't know.
Yeah, that we already have
It's
that.
all a mystery to me.
Polkadot. Yeah, it is Polkadot. Polkadot is the Allah of the cryptocurrency. Wait, I want to. What was it? Was there a reason? Like, which hadith or Quranic verse did they use to make this haram?
In the articles that I read, they didn't list any specific hadith. They were just talking about the wagering and the uncertainty and the potential harm as reasons why it's forbidden. So takfir token.
Guy,
We need a takia token.
wait, say that again. Why is it haram? Sorry, I was in.
Oh my god! Because of the potential harm, because of the uncertainty, because it's like wagering.
Oh, okay.
So
It's
they're
like
saying
gambling.
it's like betting.
Okay. We should tell them that you could make smart contracts, okay, on the blockchain that will automatically pay your zakat. Okay, like you would then like
snap.
Yeah, like tell them that you could you could base on any of the smart contract ecosystems like Ethereum. You could make it so that if people who are abiding by certain contracts will automatically, you could make a smart contract that like Muslims who are doing trading, and the Muslims who will like have that smart contract, their zakat just comes automatically out of their profit and goes to an Islamic community. Tell them like, do you still want to make this haram after that? Okay, so there's that. This might be a good. I also think like it would be a good thing. I think it would be stupid, because if these people realize what blockchain technology could do, like they are really holding themselves back, right? Like this is like kind of like they said no to the internet, and now they're all over the internet. When radio came out, they were like against the radio. When the TV came out, they're against the TV. When the internet came out, they were against the internet, and now they're everywhere on the internet. This is the same thing. Now blockchain technology is a thing. Eventually, we're going to have so many different Islamic, blockchain ecosystems. Like I could tell you that's going to be a thing. Okay, that is definitely going to be a thing.
That the central bank of Bahrain has licensed a Sharia compliant cryptocurrency exchange?
No way. Amazing.
Yeah, so Bahrain is into it. It's called Coin. It's called Coin Mina, as in Middle East. Isn't that great?
See, they should have a halal coin. Halal coin. Is it haram or halal? Well, it's in the name. Right? So but I do hope that they go the Indonesian route, because like the profit potential for the young people and the crypto market is so high that if you make these haram, then you're just gonna make more people go pick the haram way. Like I hope more they're not as smart as the Bahraini.
That reverse psychology.
People. Yeah, exactly. Like get them give us more Muslims who are leaving Islam because of you limiting what they could do, please.
It's interesting. Coin Mina is available to residents of Bahrain, the Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Oman.
It's available to wait. So it's not. It's not any. We can't buy it. Like it's not trading on an exchange. What the hell?
Oh, this was just when it was launched in January. Maybe it's
Oh, okay,
expanded.
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Would you
just love
buy an
Sharia
Islamic
compliant crypto.
Sharia compliant? We should
Certified
make
by
a
the Sharia Review Bureau.
we should figure. We should talk to some programmers. Make a haram token. We should have a friendly competition. We should have like some Muslims to come and make a halal coin, and in competition to that, we should make a haram coin, right? And we just see like it would compete in price. Like people could vote on which coin they believe in by just buying like investing in the token that they believe in the most, and we see whether the Muslim community will invest more in the halal coin or the non-Muslim community will invest. It would be a friendly competition.
I think the haram coin should actually involve something haram. So I think it should actually involve like some riba. It needs to involve some usury. This is how it makes it actually haram.
It should be like it should some of the percentage of like whatever people invest in should go towards like an orgy or something.
What?
Just make it cool. Yeah, like we have orgy party. Maybe that's not a good idea during the pandemic, but something haram, like some haram activities. That is
usury
also,
would be the easiest one. It's already financially involved.
It's not very clear, but it needs to be sexier. It needs to be healthy and sexy. It needs to be juicy. Yeah, we'll think about it.
I like my idea personally.
Okay, fine. But tell guys, if we wanna make a new token and start like making it available and make a haram coin, where like we could say like 10% of whatever, I don't know how the math works in these things, could go towards endorsing haram activities. Okay, so tell us. Oh, family planning. Like we can make like providing support for women who want to like, get abortions or something like that. That was haram enough.
Definitely, that would get you excommunicated from the Catholic Church. Yeah, so I think that,
and it's also good. It's a good cause as well, right? Like we're getting more choice for women. All right. Oh my god!
Oh my god! Anna is saying you could put a little pig as the coin's logo because I don't know. In America, we have piggy banks. You keep your money in little pigs, so that's like you could do a fun like little double entendre. Like that's so cool.
Haram coins with the pig as the logo. Oh my god!
A little piggy bank. That's so perfect.
It's genius. It's genius. How do we make this happen? Somebody, some programmers, reach out to us. Email us. Where can they email us if somebody wants to help us make a new token?
Susanna at atheistrepublic.com.
Susanna at atheistrepublic.com. Email us if we want to help us make this coin. That would be fantastic.
I want to make my own coin.
Okay, good. All right, can we clap for the next news?
Yeah. You know, honestly, we don't really have like just horrible news this week, you know?
That's
like,
great.
No one's dying, like no one's getting tortured, like
oh my
it's not stuff we support, but you know, here that anything that's not those things, it's a win.
Yeah. Thank you, please. Okay, good. Next news.
Iran's bid to ban pet ownership. Okay, look at this sad little beagle in the thumbnail.
Sad.
He's so sad.
Oh, he's so sad.
The saddest dog.
Sad? Oh.
On November 9th, Iran's parliament confirmed that they received a bill that criminalizes owning pets, especially animals deemed unclean by Islamic law. The bill aims to expand the Islamic Penal Code to ban the importation, sale, and keeping of various animals. The, quote, Bill for the Protection of Public Rights Against Harmful and Dangerous Animals was claims that, quote, walking and playing with animals such as dogs and monkeys outdoor are harmful to the health and peace of other people, especially kids and women, and that such acts are against Islamic culture. It lists dogs, rabbits, and turtles as wild, unconventional, harmful, and dangerous, included in the same category as snakes and crocodiles. Iran's religious morality police have previously cracked down on dog and pet owners. Some conservative hardliners in Iran also view pet ownership, quote, as a cultural invasion.
Amazing. Crocodiles?
They
They
put
just
dogs and like
and
bunnies in the same category of dangerous as snakes and crocodiles.
Wait, why? Yeah, good job, Islamic Republic of Iran. Like, there's a crocodile pet ownership epidemic happening in Iran. Good, good thing you stopped it, I guess.
Actually, an
What?
article I read about this whole issue talked about how there was a government body that actually basically approved illegal crocodile importation so that they could be skinned and their skin would be sold, which I'm pretty sure is like illegal internationally.
Wait, read what Ghost Bunny is saying.
Ghost Bunny is saying, but what if I want to be a pet?
Oh. Wait, is that haram?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
Um,
this made me sad. Like, there's so many cute pets and people just like, how many people their dog like vastly improves their quality of life?
yeah, no
Millions of
kidding.
people across the world, especially people who can't have children or don't want to have children, having domesticated animals is a replacement for that. And there are studies on how this can really benefit people and help their mental health. I mean, at least where I live, like emotional support animals are everywhere. The idea, I want you to talk about this whole thing of like, well, first of all, when they said that walking and playing with animals such as dogs and monkeys outdoors is harmful, Armin, okay, please help me out here. Do people walk around with monkeys in Iran? Like, do a lot of people have, like, is this a thing?
I mean, I lived there for 20 years. I've never saw a single person with a monkey. So I don't know if I don't know if my personal experience is anything to go by. I have never met a single person with a monkey.
The way
in
that it
Iran.
was phrased in the same sentence, like walking a dog and monkeys is harmful. I'm like, are people walking around like with
With
monkeys on
monkeys?
leashes? Like, that I'm not aware. It very well could be a thing. I don't know.
Mm. Well, okay, so I was supposed to prepare. Susanna put me on a mission, and I failed because
Oh.
I showed her a video of this Chadari woman in Iran with a dog, like Chadari woman, like very religious, conservative hijab, and she was walking her dog. And these religious people came up to her and they were like, "This is bad. This is un-Islamic. You shouldn't be having a dog." And she was like going at them, and she's like, you are the people who ruin their country. You are the people who keep telling us we can't do this, we can't do that. Like, go mind your own business. And she was like holding her ground so strong, and I was like, wow, this is actually a religious person with a dog, and she's like fighting other religious people who are telling her that this haram to have a dog. Okay, so and she was
I
like,
feel like if I remember correctly,
yeah,
she even says, I might be misremembering, but something about like how Islam like sucks the fun out of everything. Like, there's
yeah.
no,
I mean, like,
yeah, and I was
they
like, whoa.
I don't know. Maybe she meant, like, she said Islam sucks the fun out of everything, but maybe she was like talking about their version of Islam because she was extremely Islamic herself. And does I don't know how things work. I left there for I don't know how people have just so many contradictory beliefs there. However, if you're wondering if all of these anti-dog attitude in Iran is just the Islamic Republic of Iran and not Islam, okay, whether this is Islam itself anti-dog, or is this just like a misinterpretation of just some really conservative religious Muslims? Okay, well, as I failed to find that video. I was looking for it from that Chaduri lady to show it to you. However, I found something. I was successful at immediately finding this. Okay,
Ooh,
This is one of the many. Actually, let me make this dark. This is like
let's bring
hurting
it
my
back
eye.
to the source. Let's get into that sunnah.
L- yeah, yes, there we go. Actually, no, the background is weird. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
that's
put it
better.
right. Yeah, this is Sahih Muslim. Okay, so this is the um Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim are the most authentic sources of hadith in Islam. Okay, it doesn't get any more when it comes to Islamic scripture in the hadith category. It doesn't get more authentic than this. Right? If this is not Islamic, then nothing is other than the Quran is Islamic. Okay, which is basically the source of 95% of what is Islam comes from hadith. Okay, so this is, and again, this is on sunnah.com. This is not like an anti-Islamic source. This is the main website for Islamic hadith. And if you don't believe that this is part of Islamic hadith, go pick up a Sahih Muslim and find this. It's there. Okay, or look up any other sources of Islamic hadith. It's there, and there's many other versions of the same hadith there. Okay, so this is, says Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi, which means Muhammad. This whole thing just basically means Muhammad. So it says Muhammad ordered us to kill dogs. Muhammad really didn't like dogs. Okay, and we carried out this order so much so that we also killed the dog coming with a woman from the desert. Like we went out of our way to just kill every single dog that we could find. Like we just saw
Damn.
like woman, like yeah, like you're like we saw a woman with her dog just coming. I'm like, yep, we have to kill a dog. You're like, what? Like, yep, we're killing your dog. So we went
She
overboard with
survived
it.
the desert to be rewarded with you shooting her dog. Not
Yes,
shooting,
yes,
killing.
yeah. And then so Allah's messenger, Allah's apostle, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or otherwise known as Muhammad. I just spit on myself. Um, for forbade the killing. They were like, we were just killing so many dogs left and right that Muhammad was like, okay, chill, uh, stop it. You killed you're killing so many dogs. You're just like going like crazy with this. Stop it, okay? So the Prophet Muhammad basically said, it is your duty. What it is your duty. The jet black dog having two spots on the eyes, for it is the devil. Wait, so I think what it's saying is that from now on, just kill this kind of dog because that dog
Yeah.
is the devil.
Yeah, you know, it's specifically black dogs that are became the big problem.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of other hadiths that is similar to this. The other ones are authentic as well. This is the first one that showed up, but there are other ones that specifically Muhammad keeps telling people to kill the dogs, and they kill because he doesn't like the dogs. And some people are like, "But this we need this one. These are guard dogs." And he goes like, "Okay, kill the black dogs." Because they be the devil. They be the devil. Okay, this is very interesting because a lot of ex-Muslims, well, not a lot of it, some ex-Muslims who leave Islam, when they go get dogs, they specifically go get the blackest of black dogs because it was specifically the kind of dog that Muhammad hated the most, right? And they're like, look at this cute little thing. How could it be evil? Wait, let me bring up this and put down. Yeah.
Wait, I
All
have a
right. Let me see.
question though. Like they were
Yeah.
saying that the pet ownership is it's a cultural invasion, that it's like against Islamic values, but including like bunnies, like is what is the foundation for this claim?
There's no fat. Okay, so with bunnies, you're just not supposed to eat them. It's so I mean, it's a kind of a pro bunny situation. Where's our bunny in the live chat, right? I think they're just trying to be. I don't know why they're like. Okay, when they're mentioning all these other animals, okay, but it's about dogs. This is not about the other animals. Most people just want dogs as pets, and they just. I think they're just doing this for the sake of like acting like they're being consistent or anything. They don't have issues with any other animal other than dogs. They don't care. They don't care if you have cats. They don't care if you have bunnies. They don't. I honestly, I don't think they even care if you have crocodiles, right? But dog ownership is just raising in Iran. People just loving their dogs, and they were like, "This is un-Islamic. They want to stop it." they act like they're going after pet ownership, but they're actually going after dogs. That's what's happening. Okay. Um.
Oh, poor
Oh,
ghost bunny. Armin, I'm
Armin.
sad.
Wait, but I mean, okay. Some people are asking, like, what about cats and stuff? Islam is actually pro cats. Especially because the second main source of hadith in Islam is Abu Huraira. Susanna, do you know what Abu Huraira means?
That means like something about cats, right?
It's a father of cats. It's a cat
Hell
father.
yeah.
Okay.
Cat daddy. Cat
Cat,
daddy.
it's a cat daddy, right? So basically, the second, okay, so I think the main source of Islamic hadith, number one, was Aisha, saying Muhammad said this, Muhammad said that. She was very clever with it. She just kept on remembering what Muhammad said every time she needed something politically, right? But the second source was Abu Huraira, who was nicknamed Abu Huraira, the father of cats, because he loved cats. And some people joke about maybe this is why Islam is so anti-dog, because Abu Huraira was so in love with cats that he kept on saying that he kept on making up hadiths that Muhammad hated dogs because he was taking the cat side in the cat versus dog battle. I don't know, maybe but that's a joke. But yeah, so cats are apparently very precious in Islam. I mean, I don't know if it is actually according to Muhammad or Abu Huraira made that up. Another thing I have
all
to
I know
mention,
is that from now on we will only refer to Abu Huraira as Cat Daddy.
Cat Daddy, yes. One last thing I want to mention. Okay, I think this is great. I think if you want to make Islam disappear faster than anything else, the best way to make that is not that. The best way to make more people realize that Islam is a bad idea is not to argue that Islam is anti-woman. It's not to argue that Islam is anti-gay, anti-trans, anti-science, anti-skepticism. No. None of that will get you more people mobilized against Islam than to show the world that Islam is against dogs. Okay?
True.
That will mobilize the whole world against Islam. Okay? So in the battle of dog versus Islam, I think dogs will win. I mean, how could you not love dogs? Okay, so yes, I think this is good. Be anti-dog as much as you can, please. Please be against dogs because people love dogs. Okay, and this is just going to work in our favor.
Well, I mean, there are few things as successful as destroying the faith of Muslims as the Islamic Republic of Iran. So I think that they're just accelerating that even further.
Ghostman is saying, Susanna, why did you have us clap for this news? This is not clappable news. Xenophobia.
Okay, I have good news. This was only introduced to the parliament. Okay, this has not been approved. It's not scheduled to be enacted. Okay, this is just a potential at the moment. It's just
and
a
the outrage. It's a potential. And guys, I'm happy to report to you that the outrage to this in Iran have been massive. People are like, and you know what? One of the most favorite arguments for why this bill is a bad idea is that the pandemic has made us sad. We need this.
Oh.
We need this. That's what the main people are saying. People are saying like, we don't get out. We're sad, and you're taking our main source of emotional support away from us. That has been one of the favorite arguments, and it might work. I mean, the outrage has been so big that they might back down. We'll see. If they back down, can we come back and report that they back down? That would be good news.
Yeah, if that comes on to my radar. I wonder if they would still ban dog ownership if you're blind. Like they have seen eye dogs, right?
Like yeah, they're against. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure they would allow that. They're against pets as dogs, right? So Islam, for example, allows having dogs for guards. As you know, you can't have them in the house, right? Like you can't have guard dogs. You just can't have pet dogs.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Can we clap for the next news?
Sure.
Next news.
Next news, 80-year-old Egyptian sentenced to 5 years in prison for contempt of Islam. On November 18th, the Nozha Misdemeanors Court of Egypt sentenced notable lawyer and intellectual Ahmed Abdul Maher to 5 years in prison for contempt of Islam, basically blasphemy. The case started when Samir Sabri, a controversial Egyptian lawyer, filed a complaint against Maher before the prosecutor general. Maher's lawyer said an investigation by the Emergency State Security Misdemeanor Court claimed that Maher was, quote, violating social peace and promoting sedition in his book. According to the investigation, Maher labeled the early Islamic conquests as military invasions. Maher also claimed that these conquests were invasions, quote, aimed to enslave women rather than spread Islam. Further, he demanded that Al-Azhar University, one of the world's most important centers for Sunni Islamic thought, apologize on behalf of Prophet Muhammad's descendants who initiated the conquests. The Emergency State Security Court declared that Maher is stirring up sectarian strife and posing a threat to national unity.
Wait, 5 years for just saying this stuff? National unity?
Yes.
5 years? That's insane.
It's so wild. So he's actually like an Islamic thinker and like intellectual, and he has differing opinions on a lot of things. So he will contend that, like that Islam was spread through violent conquests, or he talks about how ridiculous and horrible the enslavement of women is. And he's had many, many other very controversial takes. One of them we've talked about previously, and I'm going to, if we have time, I'm going to show again. And this is just the latest. There were some reports saying this man is 80 years old and like an influential intellectual, and they sentenced him to 5 years in prison. There were other reports saying it was 5 years in prison with hard labor.
What? What kind of hard labor?
I saw one report that said that.
Oh my God. What? Okay. Slavery, basically. Hey, how dare you accuse Islam of slavery? Let us make you a slave to prove you otherwise. Literally, that's what they did. Okay, hard labor in prison is slavery. That it is what it is. So he was like, hey, yeah, he's being made into a slave at age 80. Amazing. But okay, so technically, you could be a Muslim and have no issue with anything he's saying. You know what I mean? Because nothing that he says is challenging Islam itself. All he's doing is like condemning actions by Muslims, which, I mean, he's a Muslim, right? So, I mean, I think his argument is that Muslims were not always acting properly. Like, you know what I mean? Like Muslims, that could be a word. They were not always properly, not always behaving properly. That doesn't mean like that's not an attack on Islam. Like especially given that he's a Muslim, he was like, I mean, it got juicier in the second sentence because you said like, oh yeah, what Muslims did, they did military invasion. I mean, that's the official narrative of Muslim history itself. Like, this is not something that Islam is shy about. It's not like they don't even claim that they spread Islam by peace, right? They're like, yeah, we did military invasion because Allah's on our side, and we won because we had the upper side, because Allah was supporting us. You know what I mean? Like they're proud of it. You know what I mean? They're like, saying Islam expanded by military invasion is not they don't see that as an attack. They see that as a bragging right? But then the second part where you said like they went mainly to get slaves, is that what you said? Like, not because to expand Islam, they went there to
According to Maher, those invasions, quote, aimed to enslave women rather than spread Islam around the world.
Okay, now that's something that got juicy to the point that most Muslims wouldn't agree with, right? I think the official narrative would be no, sir. The goal was to spread Islam. The sex slaves, they just were the rewards for us doing such a good job. You know what I mean? Like not us as in the people, like from them doing a good job. Like the goal was not the sex slaves. The reward was the sex slave because you were so good at spreading Islam. Okay, so that's again, you could still be a Muslim and see none of this as an attack on Islam. You could all be like, yeah, he's just condemning Muslims for their improper behavior. That's not an attack on Islam. Then you could argue that.
Yeah, part of what also made him controversial, where he was, Maher disputed Islamic scholars' beliefs about the possibility of the dead being tormented in their graves due to sins.
Yeah, so
he was,
this
like, speaking out against that.
Yeah, again, this could be an attack on certain. I mean, I don't know, like the torture in graves before you go to hell. I don't know if that's a Sahih hadith or some lesser authority hadith, but if it is a lesser authority hadith, this is also not anti-Islamic because he's not saying he doesn't believe in hell. He's not saying he doesn't believe in the akhirat, in the afterlife. I mean, if he gets to the point where he says, "Oh, bless you." If he gets to the point where he doesn't believe in like one of the 7, pillars of faith in Islam, then now he's getting like non-Islamic. But if he says like, I don't think you get tortured in grave and hell is still a thing, again, none of this. What I'm trying to say is that even based on Islamic standards, this guy didn't have to go to prison. You know what I mean? Like you could see like in a theocracy like Saudi Arabia or in Iran, where you might get punished for things that is technically their version of Islam, but you could argue that it's not within the core of Islam. But these theocracies just have their way of just punishing people, even for things that challenges their brand of Islam. But then in a country like Egypt, I mean, it's not like Muslim Brotherhood managed to come in power, right? You would think that with things that could be considered criticism of certain views of Islam that is not officially all of Islam, you would think in a country like Egypt, all you would get is like attacks or intimidation or some mob, threatening you. You would think at least the government would let you get away with that. You know what I mean? Like you would think the government wouldn't see that which we were like, we can't go after everybody who speaks stuff like this. Like he's not saying Muhammad was not a prophet. He's not questioning the afterlife. He's not questioning the Quran or faith. He's just saying that from my perspective, these Muslims at this time did this wrong thing, or this minor view in Islam is not authentic, and he still gets 5 years in jail in Egypt. Well, I mean, God damn it.
What do you think about him demanding that Al-Azhar University apologize for conquests on behalf of Ahl Bayt and the Sahaba?
I think Al-Azhar University should just apologize for being Al-Azhar University. You don't need to. I don't think they have to apologize for things that they didn't do. They have already been responsible for so much crap themselves that they need to apologize for.
That's so funny.
Oh, you want to show that
do you
video?
think we have enough time to show this short little clip from Maher?
I have it. You want to share it? You're
I
want
to share it
anymore. Okay, you share it. Go ahead.
You want
can you read it? I'm gonna go. You here. I'll
go up.
You read it well.
What are you doing? I am, and you keep removing it. Oh my god!
Oh, there's a delay. I'm not gonna touch it. Okay.
So we actually covered this a few months ago, or actually I think it was the beginning of the year when this originally came out. But if you look up let me say his full name, Ahmed Abdul Maher, he has tons of memory gems. If you guys are not familiar with memory, they translate a lot of content from the Islamic world. And it's very interesting. So here was a clip that he got in a lot of trouble for. Let me get to the... Okay. I sped this up a little bit since I'm just going to translate this from the... Well, I'm going to read the subtitles. So he's saying there's no doubt that the young people who are becoming atheists are giving this a lot of thought. They do not become atheists because they are cowards who like heresy. And then the TV host says, could you please clarify what you mean by that? He said, today, when someone is in high school, at university, or who has graduated, when he opens a religious book, he sees that according to all 4 schools of Islamic jurisprudence, a man cannot bring his sick wife a doctor or some medicine. Do you see? When these texts say that a pregnancy can last 4 years,
هذا الكلام لما يقولوا كمان إنه حمل المرأة يمكن أن يستقر في بطنها ل4 سنوات ثم تلد
and that a child must be named after his father,
وتسميه باسم سيادتك حتى لو كنت طلقت
even if they have been divorced for 3 years or if he has been dead for 4 years.
من 3 سنين أو مت من 4 سنين. الولد بيكفر.
Things like this are what are these young people become atheists and heretics.
أو بيلحد من الأمور دي. شوف حضرتك.
For example, there is a hadith in the Bukhari collection.
حديث بخاري.
In which it is asked, do you know where the sun goes when it sets?
أين تذهب الشمس؟ قالوا
In the hadith, a man named Abu Dhar said that Allah and the Prophet knows best.
أبو واحد اسمه أبو ذر قال الله ورسوله أعلم. قال فإنها
The
تذهب.
Prophet Muhammad said that the sun goes under the God's throne until morning.
تسجد تحت عرش الرحمن حتى إذا جاء الصبح
Then it
استأذنت وأذن
asks
له.
God's permission to rise and does so only when permission is granted.
يطلع تاني علينا. ما كانش عنده فكرة اللي بيزور الحديث.
Whoever falsely attributed this hadith to the Prophet
على الرسول إنه في دورة
didn't know that
فلكية.
there is a celestial cycle, and that when the sun sets here, it rises in America and vice versa.
بتشرق في أمريكا ولما بتشرق في أمريكا بتغرب في أمريكا بتشرق عندنا. ما كانش عنده
This
فكرة.
person didn't know this.
فكذب
So
على
he
الرسول وخلى
falsely attributed this hadith to the Prophet Muhammad,
الموضوع ده
and then it was cited by one person to the next and so forth,
عن فلان عن أبو هريرة
until Abu Huraira stated that the Prophet actually said this. My own
Cat
commentary here is it's obviously very important. It's very interesting how he's saying, oh, this was falsely attributed to the Prophet, blah, blah, blah.
Abu Huraira, otherwise known as Cat Daddy.
It's Cat Daddy.
Cat Daddy. See, I told you Abu Huraira is the main source of one of the main sources of hadith. Okay.
وقال طب هذا الكلام
These things exist in these texts to this day.
بيبقى موجود لحد النهارده.
سيادة المستشار
مش طعن ده مش
Sir, how common are such things?
طعن ده في
نسبة الكلام ده قد ايه في اللي احنا يعني
شوف حضرتك.
النسبة
What proportion of these texts do they compromise?
قد
شوف
ايه؟
حضرتك النسبة دي اللي سيادتك بتتكلم
Their
عليها
proportional size can be compared to the size of the CoV virus in one's body.
هي ذات نسبة فيروس كورونا في جسمي أنا وزني
I weigh 90 kilograms, and if I am infected by the CoV virus,
90 كيلو وجالي الكورونا دي
what
تساوي
is the proportional weight of the virus relative to my body weight?
كم من وزني وعملت فيا إيه؟
And look what damage it can do to me.
يعني عايز أقول لسيادتك
I want to tell you, when Satan lies, he tells a small lie, but he embeds it deeply.
الشيطان لما بيكذب كذبة صغيرة ويدسها. اللي عايز أحط لسيادتك السم
If someone wants to poison you, he won't spread the poison all over.
دورش الحلة كلها يعمل فيها سم. ده بيحط
It is enough for him to put half a teaspoon of poison
نص معلقة سم على أذان
in a
كبير.
container this big, and he stretches his arms out real wide. Proportion is irrelevant in this case.
YouTube, we're not endorsing poisoning anybody here. Okay, we're just reviewing this video, but this is not an instruction video. But go on.
فما فيش حاجة اسمها نسبة.
So I just thought that was he's actually a really interesting person. I thought him saying this was very controversial back when this came out last November, because he's actually trying to say he's pointing to these flaws that are accepted in major books as authentic and approved by many different schools of thought, and saying, look at these inconsistencies, look at these obvious falsehoods, look at these obvious scientific mistakes. Like, children see this, young adults see this, they realize it's false, and so they leave, which is a much more empathetic and realistic way of looking at why apostasy is skyrocketing across the Islamic world than just saying these people want to go commit sin, right? He also has a lot of really interesting commentary on the Arab world, and he seems to really want to promote Enlightenment values, like in his own way, and how he thinks that in many ways the Arab world is stagnated, to use his words. And so I just thought it would be cool to kind of show a little bit about what he talks about, so we can kind of put in the larger context of the story.
And now he's in prison for doing.
Well, he's
doing
not in
hard
prison
labor.
yet. Okay,
Yes?
so I
Okay.
saw one source that said that there might be some chance for his lawyers to do some legal magic because he was tried in absentia, meaning he was tried without him being present for the trial. And then there are other articles saying that this is like there was the highest court through the system, of course, like there can be no appeal. So I'm not exactly sure what this means for him in the end.
Legal magic is very fitting, given how these things work. It all sometimes does seem like it makes as much sense as magic when it comes to like honestly. Okay, so can we clap for? By the way, Qasim was upset that you made us clap for the dog news. He was like, "Why did you make us clap for that?" He was upset with you. Anyways, can we clap for the next news?
I don't think we should.
Okay, next news.
Next news, Taliban bans women from TV dramas. On November 21st, the Taliban issued a guideline to broadcasters banning women from appearing in television soap operas and entertainment shows. It also mandates that female journalists and news presenters wear headscarves, although the exact type of covering hasn't been specified. The new guideline issued by the Ministry for the Propagation of Virtue and the Prevention of Vice contained 8 directives. These include a prohibition on films that, quote, promote foreign culture and values, and films that include men exposing their intimate body parts. The Taliban's restrictions are slowly mounting. This time they're imposed on the airwaves. The guidelines also direct broadcasters to ensure that entertainment and comedy are not, quote, based on insulting others, nor for the insult of human dignity and Islamic values. This includes shows or any footage that depicts the Islamic prophets and their disciples. Despite their initial statements to establish a more moderate appearance, the recent actions from the Taliban are starting to overwhelm their previous rhetoric.
I have a question. How could you have dramas without women?
Actually,
Is that possible? Like,
yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, isn't that it? Aren't women like the main source of drama? I mean, I don't know.
There are some people who'd be like ripping their hair over that being a sexist comment.
No, that's why I'm saying it.
Or
we could try
to counter them, you could say that men's contentions and fighting over women is one of the main sources of drama, which I think is also true.
You saved me. Oh yeah, here they're saying maybe gay dramas in Afghanistan. Sure. Well, we could try. We could have like TV dramas with just men, and Afghanistan could try showing us that we could have drama with just men. That would be amazing. I highly doubt that would be possible. Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, it would probably involve women, just not on screen.
Sure. just men fighting over a woman that you would never see. That's maybe its own brand of comedy. I mean, okay. Here, to be fair, women are the main source of drama, but men are the main source of violence. So there you go. So which one do you want to be more responsible for, right? So, I mean, drama over violence. I think that's less evil, I guess.
I think it depends on what type of drama.
Yeah. Ghost Bunny saying
Yeah.
Armin Shakespeare once had all men casted. I'm pretty sure.
No, that was the
Well, I
norm
mean-
in Shakespearean theater.
Well, yeah, but they had men dressed up as women because it
Yeah.
was at that time women couldn't. Hey, maybe that's what they should. That's what Taliban should allow. Because that was the Victorian. They didn't have women actors back then either, so men had to
Yeah.
dress up as women. So TV dramas in Afghanistan where you have men dressing up as the women playing the women's roles.
No, but you're not allowed to do that. There's a hadith against that. You're not allowed to dress up as the opposite sex.
You ruined it. I was trying to get them. I was trying to get them sneak. Like I was trying to
Brother, that's haram.
sneaking cross dressing in Afghanistan, and you just like you told them it didn't work. Anyways. Well, great. Taliban is just Talibaning, I guess, as we expected. However, here's one thing, actually. Okay, the Talibaning that the Taliban is doing is not still the same level as the Talibaning they did 20 years ago. Okay, so if we said that they might be Talibaning less than before, these are not evidence that we have been wrong, because it's not even. Oh, here's an example. Okay, they're saying the Taliban today is saying no women in TV dramas. The Taliban 20 years ago was saying no TVs, period. They were smashing TVs. Okay, so don't use these examples for us. And I also know that I'm not saying Taliban good now. Okay, don't come at me like that. I'm not saying that and they're not doing this out of the kindness of their heart or anything. Okay, I know they're just being strategic. Okay, but again, don't tell me that the strategies haven't changed. Okay, you can see how big of a change it is where they're allowing TV to begin with. Okay, so there is still a major difference from the Taliban 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's interesting that they still allow female journalists on TV. They just have to have some form of hijab.
Well, not only they're allowing them, apparently top officials in the Taliban love being interviewed by women journalists. Like I keep seeing, like this Haqqani guy was being interviewed by a female journalist. So
the
like,
Haqqani,
okay.
Damn.
Yeah. Ghost Bunny's comment is funny.
And Ghost Bunny is saying, Armin, you never met my ex. He was the king of drama and violence.
Oh shit. Okay, I thought that was funny until I realized what she was saying. The violence as well. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I take my laughter back. Yeah. So what is this?
Megumin is saying men in full burqa and niqab, but if they act as women, they must also shave, which is also Taliban. Okay, so the beard shaving, that was something we reported on, but that was only in one specific province. I do have to clarify, it's one specific province or city.
I do see that people men who are shopping for burqas in Afghanistan, they have men wearing it just so that they could see how it would, if it's, because they can't try it on women, right? Yeah, so I saw videos of the men actually putting on the burqas when they were shopping for burqas for their wives or daughters or whatever.
Do you have a changing room for this? That reminds me of how in Nigeria they banned mannequins and mannequin heads. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because they said it's shirk.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, because you might actually end up worshiping. I mean, one of those things.
There were a lot of journalists who came forward about all of these different directives that they recently put forward and said that a lot of them are extremely vague. So the possibility of this being correctly enforced may mean that broadcasters just have to shut down. because they're not as clear as they should be about like what is an insult to Afghan and Islamic values. That's so vague. Like you have to just know what's
Actually, that's a very, very important point, Susanna, that you made. A lot of the censorship right now that is happening in Afghanistan is not being done by the Taliban, it's being done by the confusion. Because the Taliban, a lot of the Taliban is not going out and like investigating what to shut down or what not to shut down. And you get contradictory reports from this branch of, some of them are, and then some of them go shut something down. And then the head of Taliban, they're like, oh, they shouldn't have done that. They should have allowed it. And sometimes they're like, oh, women can study, but they can't at this age. They can maybe one day. And they keep saying things that are contradictory, and they're like, we have to wait and see. But there's no enforcement in shutting a lot of this down. But people are like, well, people are like, I'm just not gonna risk it. Like, for example, they're not telling you that you need to have a beard, but some people are like, I'm not gonna shave. I don't know what's gonna happen, right? So like, there are a lot of people that are not sending. Classes have been closed. There's no Taliban coming and shutting them down. They're like, I don't know what's allowed, and I don't want to. Like the school, either the censorship, the shutdowns are happening by the schools themselves or the parents. They're like, I'm not going to send my daughter here or there. I don't know what's allowed right now, right? So a lot of the people are like, if the Taliban is not shutting these things down, why are things getting shut down? Is because people are not willing to take the risk because they don't know who's in charge and what is allowed. So they might as well just not do anything, right? So that's how it's working right now. It's kind of sad. Very sad. There's not much. By the way, if you ask how is Taliban governing in the past, like they've been in charge like about 100 days now, right? The answer is they're not. Like there is really there is no bad governance or good governance right now. There's just like they're not doing much. There's like nothing is happening. That's the main theme of Taliban in charge right now. Anyways, can we clap for the next news?
Yes, we can. It's always happy news.
Next news.
Debaptisms increase as Italian apostasy rises. The Union of Rationalist Atheists and Agnostics, or UAAR, made debaptism possible 2 decades ago in Italy. They launched an online registry where people can submit applications for debaptism. UAAR just estimates that more than 100,000 people have already been debaptized in Italy. In 2020, according to the Archdiocese of Brescia in eastern Milan, they alone received 27 applications for debaptism. This year, as of August, again, this single diocese says that they have debaptized 72 people. Although data is lacking, the actual numbers may be higher. According to Reverend Daniele Mombelli, the vice chancellor of the Diocese of Brescia, anyone who applied for debaptism is committing the crime of apostasy. This crime is punished with automatic excommunication, prohibitions on being a godparent, and losing the right to a Catholic funeral. Other than disbelief, people who have been debaptized mentioned social issues like LGBTQ rights, euthanasia, and abortions as the driving cause behind their decision to leave the Catholic Church.
Yeah, I don't think people who are taking so much effort into making sure they leave the religion are going to be upset about not being able to have those, like, I don't know, a religious funeral. Like, oh my God, so sad. I just left your religion. Why do you think that would make me upset? Like, like why are you threatening me with something that I don't give a crap about? Like, do they understand? Like, if you leave our religion, you would not get a religious funeral. Like, do you understand?
It's so funny.
Why are they like? Why would you think that would work as a threat? They don't want anything to do with the religion. I love how they're taking their apostasy so seriously. Like, I thought, like, you know, when we left our religion, there wasn't like an official deep. What does it entail to be debaptized? I want to be something.
D Shahada.
I want to. I just stopped believing, and that was it. And I was an apostate. Like, but this is like, I don't know, fancy. It seems like
Well, yeah,
more
because
official and fancy.
correct me if I'm wrong, but there is no like baptism sacrament in Islam. Like when you're a Catholic,
can I be
you get baptized and there's a registry and there's documentation and they have forms within their own governing body within the Catholic Church that tracks who was baptized, because then that's also how they keep track of who's allowed to have weddings, who's allowed to receive sacraments, who's allowed to receive last rites, who's allowed to receive a funeral, be buried in a Catholic graveyard, all these things. So for me, if you go to my parish where I grew up, I'm still a Catholic. I'm still on their books, documented as a Catholic. There's bureaucracy involved in a way that there isn't bureaucracy involved in many other faiths. What I think is really interesting is this was originally highlighted in Religion News Service, which is an awesome place for religious news, and they're affiliated with the Associated Press. And they were talking about how, this is a fantastic quote. It's just so chef's kiss to me. Okay. So, the head of this atheist organization in Italy said that many Italians are still unaware of debaptism as an option. In the past, the association would organize debaptism days to advertise it, he said, but it turns out that the church itself is debaptism's best promoter. Quote, whenever the Vatican is at the center of controversy, we see that access and traffic to our website grows dramatically, pointing out that on 2 days in June, the traffic on their website went from a daily average of 120 visitors to more than 6,000. Not coincidentally, perhaps, a few days earlier, the Vatican sent a note to the Italian government asking to change some language in a proposed law aimed at criminalizing discrimination based on sex, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, and disability. So
amazing.
Let me make this clear. We covered the story when it first happened. The Vatican sent a letter to Italian lawmakers expressing their concern over a proposed law that is an anti-discrimination law. It was a law that would prohibit people from discriminating against the LGBTQ community broadly, right? There's other stuff too, but that was the main thing. This was an unprecedented step and seen as blatant interference into Italy's laws and civic life in a way that is not supposed to occur. Many people saw this as a huge overstep, right? Because the church is basically saying, if you make discrimination on the basis of your sexual orientation illegal, like, we're in a bind, and actually you're interfering with the treaties that you have between the Vatican and Italy, etc. So that happened, and then they saw an explosion of traffic on their website. It's just so beautiful. Like, it really goes to show, like, once again, these religious institutions are often the best advertisers and promoters of apostasy.
How do they do the debap? Like, what's the process? I wonder.
So you have an online form, and you complete the online form, and then you detail, you like put in writing that you have apostatized, that you have left the Catholic Church, and you free to list your reasons why, and then you go send that as an official documentation to the parish where you were baptized. I still need to go do this, by the way. Can
we document this? Like, can we celebrate it here? Oh my God, I'm so glad that you haven't done it yet. That means we get to see you do it here on Atheist Republic. That's fantastic. Yeah, for people who don't know, Susanna is an ex-Catholic. So amazing. We could celebrate that. Are there any parties or ceremonies or like anything involved, or is it just official documentation?
Well, it sounded like they used to have like days to advertise that they do this, right? That they provide the service to people to help them get debaptized, quote unquote. But so they kind of had little like ways to advertise it. I don't know if they had celebrations, but I would like a celebration.
I think like the companies are responsible for helping you. They should also add like an extra feature for like maybe just a little bit extra. You could add an option for them to have like a celebratory, like, I don't know, like they should have like a room or a place or a garden, right, where they come and I don't know, they have to come up with a standard way to celebrate, like debapt. I don't know. I think there should be, because that's what people want. You know what I mean? Like baptism is like this special thing, um, a ritual that people do certain things and makes them feel part of a community.
Mhm.
And I think we need to provide an alternative for people. So like they need to make the baptism thing a fun thing. I think if they make it a fun little celebratory tradition, a lot of people might like not do all of this because they're like, what's the point? I already don't believe it. Why would I spend my time going out and fill these applications and stuff, right? But I think it works. It's such a good marketing against the Catholic Church, where people are actually taking all these steps to make sure that they're being debaptized. It's just such a good, powerful marketing tool to show like how much people care about not being associated with your organization. So to
Mhm.
promote more people doing it, if you make it somewhat fun, maybe a lot of people that didn't care to go and do it are now going to be like, I want to be part of this. That looks like kind of fun. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
it reminds me
maybe
how
people could do it in group. Yeah.
the Council
ahead.
of Ex-Muslims of Britain, like when people become ex-Muslims, they have a coming out party. So it reminds me of that, like to make it more
Hmm.
fun to celebrate your apostasy.
I just had an
I
idea,
would
but I
love to
can't
do
say.
that. It'd be so much fun because part of the reason why some people might say, well, like, why does it matter to you? You know, it matters
Mm.
to me personally because I am still counted as a Catholic. Like they can still put
Yeah.
me forward as in their statistics as a Catholic, and I'm not. And I would like the church to have that documented. And there was other people in the live chat saying like, oh, you know, like 72 people at one archdiocese, like that's nothing in Italy, blah, blah, blah. There are some statistics that show that roughly 30% of Italians are atheists. So
Mm.
this is like, that's huge, right?
Yeah.
It's even larger than estimates of the United States, if I remember correctly. So the difference is that a lot of people just don't go this extra step of actually doing this paperwork to be removed. Because like I said, the Catholic Church has bureaucracy in the ways that other faiths don't. And also it's very different because Catholicism is it's a very cultural thing in Italy, right?
Mm.
So a lot of people probably wouldn't go that length because they just see it as part of their culture, even if they don't believe it personally, which is fine. You know, they
That's why
secularize it in
they
their own
need
way.
to make it more fun. I think it will be like, see, Darko, are you an ex-Catholic? Because Darko is saying I don't care enough to do it, to be honest. See, like this is what we need. We need to make it so that people are more motivated than, you know, like maybe they could make it do you get like a certificate that is beautiful that you could hang on your wall or something? You know what I mean? Like a degree, or there needs to be something, you know?
I have a
You know?
friend who went through the process of getting his apostasy recognized by the parish where he was baptized, and they like sent him a letter like acknowledging that you are no longer a Catholic, like your names have been stricken from the
Yeah, but
records, all that stuff.
again, there's so many ways to make this an NFT. Maybe you get an NFT that you could trade.
Oh my god, you and the blockchain, I swear to God.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Someone's like, we can put your apostasy on the blockchain. No one can take it from you.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Can we clap for the next news?
Well, we're gonna clap because it's the last news, not because we like this.
It's fine. I think we have I actually have a solution for this. Okay. Next news.
Italian.
Okay, let's try again.
I'm dyslexic.
All right. Italian, Indian, and Italian. We got it. Okay. Next news.
Indian government blocks blasphemous art website. In mid-November 2021, it was discovered by Atheist Republic's legal counsel in India that our site, blasphemousart.com, has been blocked by the Ministry of Electronics and Information, or the abbreviation is like MITI. I'm just going to say Meeti, okay? In India. This is the latest attempt from the government of India to completely cut off Indian non-believers' access to Atheist Republic, the largest community of atheists in the world. To ascertain which specific internet service providers have blocked this website, Atheist Republic has distributed a survey to all of our consulates or local meetup groups in India. Initial results reveal that the website is blocked for some users in Delhi, Kerala, West Bengal, and 2 other states. This recent blocking of our backup website, blasphemousart.com, reiterates the importance of subscribing to Atheist Republic's newsletter, which can never be blocked by a government or banned by a social media company. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to our newsletter at atheistrepublic.com/newsletter.
Well, they can't access it from India. So because atheistrepublic.com has also been blocked in India by some ISPs, by the major ones. So I'm going to keep making sure that they keep chasing us, okay? Because we made the Blasphemous Art, because blasphemousart.com website. By the way, you can still access it using a VPN if you don't know that, right? Or if you change your IP with any tools to somewhere outside of India. So we wanted to make sure that people, because our Facebook page got the government blocked that in India, right? Our Twitter accounts, both my personal account, Susanna's Twitter account, and our Atheist Republic Twitter account got suspended because of Hindutva mass reporting them. Then they came after our website. So our website, atheistrepublic.com, got blocked in India. So we made a new website called blasphemousart.com. So that people could at least get our art in India that way, and also to subscribe to our newsletter. And now they blocked blasphemousart.com. So that's where actually one of the places you could go to subscribe to our newsletter, right? So I'm going to now create a new link for you to be able to subscribe to our newsletter, and I'll make sure that in future videos I'll include that in the video in the description. So once I have a new URL set up for people to be able to subscribe to our newsletter, because if you don't know, if you are on our newsletter, you get at least one art. You get the news, but you also get at least one art every week for free. You're welcome. Okay. And I want to make sure that no matter where they block us, you will never lose access to us, because you will get that in your inbox. There's like no government that could come and stop that. Okay. Because it's a newsletter, but we always need a URL where people could go subscribe to it. Like, by the way, if you're outside of India, you still have access to blasphemousart.com. Like, you could go to blasphemousart.com, subscribe to the newsletter, and get all our art that way. But we're not going to lose our access to India. Like, no matter what they do, I want them to keep chasing us. Okay, so I'll make a new URL. Let's see what they do with that. Okay, and then once they we'll go after that, I'll make another. By the way, you guys realize that they're just giving us an opportunity to keep telling people to come get our blasphemous art on our newsletter, right? Like, they think like they are stopping us, but this is just an excuse for us to tell you that an entire government is after the tiny Atheist Republic team to stop us from giving you art of Hindu gods and goddesses, right? Like, that's what they're. By the way, if you're an Indian taxpayer, I hope you're offended by this. Given how many all the problems that India is dealing with, I hope that you're extremely offended that your tax money is being used by the BJP to come after me and Suze and the rest of the Atheist Republic team, so that we can't give you blasphemous art of Hindu gods and goddesses. And that's what they're spending your money on. You have to be upset if you're Indian. Like, why is my government doing this? How is this how is this important? Guys, and if you think this is not a big priority, okay, they have filed a lot of police reports against us. We have been brought up all the way to the Supreme Court of India, and recently to another high court in India. This is a major issue. Me and Susie are a major issue because we're giving you drawings of their gods and goddesses. This is like they need to stop us, okay? And we're going against the world's largest political party, which is the BJP. And if they can't stop us, that's amazing. But go ahead, Susanna.
It's so funny because I know for a fact that the Ministry of Electronics and Information, they know who we are.
Yeah.
Like, this is confirmed. And what you can help us with, if you want to know why, what it is that is so scandalous that they will not let you see, you should consider becoming a patron, supporting us on Patreon. Link is in the description. You can support us for as little as $1 a month, and not only do you get the sexiest blasphemous art at least every week, but you also get priority when we do our Q&As, and you get to engage with our community over there. But also, I would like to say this is another reason why it is so helpful if you guys would help us with our legal expenses. So we previously set up these expenses because of, well, just Armin gave you a preview of some of the stuff we've been dealing with, right? But this is new. And so they're continuing to keep hitting us with all of these different issues. And our legal expenses are going to increase. I meet with my lawyers about these things frequently. And we are going to be investigating and filing all the paperwork necessary to find more information about this latest block. So please, if you are feeling so generous, it'd be very, very much appreciated if you could go help us support with our legal expenses. Link is in the description for this GoFundMe. And they just don't stop. It just continues to amaze me. Like, it's been over a year and they just keep coming. And I can't, my lawyers have said that I am not allowed to say why, but we did know that this was coming. Yes, I knew that the block was impending. If you guys go back and watch some of my stuff talking about this, because it's so constant. And also, if you are in India and a member of our consulates, if you go to the announcement in your local consulate, you will see that I have provided a link to the survey, because I'm trying to find as much information as possible about where we are blocked and what ISPs, etc. So if you could please go complete that survey. If you are in India, go find it in your local consulate. It would be very much appreciated, because that really helps us figure out what sort of companies and etc. that we need to go address legally about this. We need to know who's blocking us before we can go fight the block, right? So please go complete that survey.
Yes, thank you. And to all the people that who have already supported us on the GoFundMe for our legal expenses, you have no idea how much you helped us. Like, our lawyers make every single dollar count. Like, they have done so much with very little the money that we have. They have been very, very helpful to us. And Susanna is like constantly working with them, and she's in touch with them, and she's spending a lot of time on this. So thank you for that, Susanna. Susanna, I know you are tired of me talking about blockchain, but can I also use this as a way to tell people about our new social media outlet? Okay. Because this is like Atheist Republic is on Peaked, or I don't know how you pronounce this. Peaked or Peaked? It's Peaked. PEAKD is a social media platform that is on blockchain, on the Hive blockchain. And that means that it's uncensorable. Like, not like even the people who made this social media, even they cannot remove it because it's on the blockchain. Like, it's something that even gods can remove. Okay. And the good thing about this social media outlet is that you get paid just for engaging. Okay. So you can see, like, we make posts like here, and we're getting paid in cryptocurrency just by posting. And if you guys go on this social media account outlet and make an account, and you engage with Atheist Republic here, I will make sure to upvote your comments, And by me upvoting your comments with Atheist Republic, that means you're gonna get cryptocurrency, which you could go sell then for money. Okay, so if you want to engage with Atheist Republic and get paid for it with cryptocurrency, with actual money that you could sell for US dollars or anything else or other cryptocurrencies. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial expert. I'm just telling you to go engage with us on Peak D, and I will make sure to upvote your comments so you get paid for engaging with us. Okay, so this is like a good way to get involved in the crypto world and make money from it. You know, like on Facebook and Twitter, you don't get paid for commenting on a post. Here you do, so you might as well try it. Okay, and it's easier to get paid for it with the guarantee that Atheist Republic is going to give you upvotes. Okay, and also, by the way, on this platform, when you upvote somebody, they're making money from your upvotes, but you're not paying for it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a pool of funds of rewards that is not from you, that people who get upwards, that rewards goes to the people who are getting upwards. So basically, you're giving money by upvoting somebody. You're giving them money, but not out of your own pocket. You're giving them money out of this pool of rewards and if they upvote you back, you're getting money. Okay, so this is fantastic. Like we have made so much here without actually being a big platform, right? Like we have only 300 followers. Like other social media don't treat their users this well, like Facebook and Twitter, right? And it's completely
they actively make their platforms worse.
Yeah. So like how they value you here. The community is amazing, and it's uncensorable. It's literally uncensorable, right? With it's so yeah, go try it and let us know. I'm hoping we could see at least a few people on Peak D to engage with Atheist Republic. Okay? I make sure to like respond to your comments and talk to you there. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Eventually,
great
I'm
show
telling
today.
you, yeah, it was a great show. But eventually, these blockchain social media will become a big thing. I don't know which ones, but eventually we will try to keep an eye on. And there's no Twitter mob or Hindutva tech, whatever. What is it called? Tech.
BJPIT cell.
BJPIT cell. Like there's no way they can't do anything when this becomes the norm. Yeah, great show. Thank you again for Susanna for spending so much time researching all of this news, reading about it, making sure she's getting the right perspective. Honestly, again, I know this is becoming repetitive, but I'm gonna say it again. I watch a lot of news coverage on many different streams. It never gets even remotely close to the coverage I get from Susanna, right? When she comes and explains to us what's happening in the world. Like it doesn't get any better. So thank you again, Susanna. More people should appreciate all you do for them here. Anyways, thank you guys. We're gonna go now. And thank you for everyone. And guys, if you the least you could do to support us is to like this video. So please do not leave without liking this video. It doesn't cost you anything and it helps grow our platform. So please make sure you like the video. Okay.
And I promise next time you see me, my Wi-Fi won't be this bad.
You actually look good now. You're no pixely. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.